Okay, so today's topic is about something I feel like majority of men today experience. And that's this little thing called fear of rejection. And I think in most cases for men, that fear is either why, in a lot of cases, why men typically, I feel like, at least a good amount of men don't get through the talking stage. They don't take that next step into getting into a relationship because of that fear of rejection and that fear of losing that person. Now, I know this, of course, because this is something I've dealt with numerous times in the past when I was younger. Is the fear still there now? To a degree, kind of. But as I've gotten older, you kind of understand the principle of matter that it doesn't really matter if that person rejects you. It doesn't really matter if they leave. Now, I know I've literally made videos saying that, it sucks when people leave, and it does. And I talk about how, I'm sad when a certain someone leaves and whatnot. And, I have been in the past. In more recent times, though, I've been continuing to work on training myself to not really care when somebody goes. Because at the end of the day, we live in a world with 8 billion people in it, and there's 1000% somebody out there who will be compatible with me. So, at the end of the day, if one person leaves, it opens the door for somebody else to come in and take that spot and make your life better. Because, ultimately, you can only go up from here. If you had one person who did you wrong, next time, as long as you've learned your lesson, you can only do better. But that can't be said for not most people, but a lot of guys. A lot of guys, if you at least ones that I know, tend to go back for that same type of person. And this same type of person could be somebody who, has toxic traits, poor with communication, or that's not really a toxic trait, that's kind of just a skill issue and something that needs to be worked on. I wouldn't really say it's a toxic trait unless it absolutely becomes one. I'm not trying to say it can't become a toxic trait, but it's kind of in the realm of right in the middle almost. It's not a red flag, but it's not really a green flag either. I think it depends on the person's, level of communication. But anyway, that's besides the point. But yeah, no. Some guys tend to go back for the same type of person, and that's not really learning your lesson, because you're just kind of, in a way, proving to the last person you were with, that you couldn't do better. But I don't know. But anyways, I've just been trying to allow myself to believe. And it's not something really that I need to have a hard time believing, because it's reality. There are so many women on this planet. And like I've talked about before, I go to a college with 10,000 people. 20,000, something like that. I don't know the number specifically. But it is a campus filled with women, to put it simply. You can't tell me that one of those women is not interested in me, or wouldn't be interested in me. Because I'm sure if I went up to one and talked to one and just had confidence and courage, had a simple conversation with them, didn't treat it like I was trying to date them, I could easily be in. Realistically, when it comes to talking to people, so many guys, and maybe it's the same with girls too, I don't know, but at least from a guy's perspective, so many dudes are afraid that if they approach a woman, they're gonna get the worst possible response ever. that whatever they say, it's going to be negative. And on top of that, they're also afraid of messing up. And they're afraid of being made fun of if they mess up. How do I know this? Because, I mean, honestly, I've been that way for so long. It's not really that I'm introverted. It's more of just a means of I've got bad social anxiety. I've had a long time fear that if I go up to this girl that I find really attractive, that I'm going to be in my head the whole time thinking about what I want to say instead of being in the moment and just flowing with the conversation. That's another thing too. A lot of guys tend to think about what they want to say to a pretty girl if they consider approaching them. And this fear exists because you have the intention of dating them. If you have the intention of dating them and in a way putting them on a higher pedestal as of like, oh, well, she'd like me back, you're putting her above you. You cannot put her above you. The way you kind of have to see it is if you're going to like her or not. It's not it doesn't matter if she likes you or not. It's a means of, do you like her? And if you don't like her, then you move on. Simple enough. And if she doesn't like you, who gives a shit? But if she does, it's a big W. And if you like her back, then perfect. Get her number, talk, and see what happens. Like, really, this isn't rocket science here. We are people. We are meant to interact with each other. We are not meant to be super far apart from each other and, like, not communicative with one another. Like, if you get a bad response from somebody and they say something mean to you, who cares? It's one person. It's one person, and you are not going to have the same experience every single time. And these negative experiences kind of tie into one of my other videos that I made talking about why relationships don't work. And this kind of ties into the fact that when you have one bad experience, you tend to, not everybody, but some people tend to blame the whole gender group. Or blame the entire gender. And just accusing an entire group rather than the one person of being mean to them. So they'll assume that all girls are mean to them, or all guys are mean to them, I don't know. And that's why, in a way, why a lot of relationships don't happen, I guess. And why communication and why people are so afraid to approach. And why that fear of rejection exists. Because they're afraid that they're going to get a repeat of that experience. I will tell you, if you're thinking about a repeat of a negative experience that you've had, odds are it'll happen again. You kind of have to go in, you don't know, not kind of, you have to go into an open mind when approaching somebody. Because this person is an entirely new person. They might share similar character traits to somebody else you've talked to in the past, but it is not the same person. This is an entirely different human being. And there's no reason why you should be afraid to talk to them. Because who knows, this same girl or guy, speaking for both genders here, like, this same girl or guy could have been looking at you, and they might think you're attractive as well. So look at it that way. If you're nervous about going up to somebody, they could be just as nervous as... They could be just as nervous considering talking to you as well. Or wanting to talk to you. They could be equally socially anxious. And that's okay. Like, it's okay to be nervous. There's no shame in that. But you don't need to be. You see, we're people. And odds are, if you go up to somebody and approach them and just have a normal conversation with them, you're not going to get a bad interaction. And if you do, some people suck. It's okay. Some people are just not good people, and not everybody's meant for each other. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you just stay away from those people. If somebody sucks and you're not compatible with them, it's fine. It's really not the end of the world. And I mean, in some cases, like, It can be, right person, wrong time scenario. But I mean, it's just people. What are you afraid of? You see a pretty girl at the gym or something like that, or at the library, or in your class. I mean, what are you afraid of? She's like this 5'4" petite little thing. She's probably smaller than you. Like, what are you afraid of? What is she going to do to you? She's not going to hurt you. She's not going to take out a gun and, like, shoot you or something like that. She's not gonna, I don't know. She's not going to try to harm you or, like, do any damage to you. She's not going to punch you in the face if you go up to her and ask her how her day's been, or if you think she's attractive, like, and you go up and tell her that. She's going to be flattered. And if anything, she's going to be even happier that you said it to her face. The thing is, when you approach a girl that you find attractive, that already makes you different than most guys, I feel like. Most guys are going to add you on Snapchat, or add a girl on Snapchat, and try to get to know them that way. They're not going to actually approach them. A lot of guys are this way. They don't have the balls to go up to a girl and tell her they think she's attractive, or go up to her and try to get to know her or anything. All they want to do is just do it on Snap and do it the easy way, because it's a shield. It's a shield that's protecting you from your fear of rejection. And let me tell you, the more you approach girls, the more you approach girls and the more you talk to people, the much easier it's going to be for you. The much more naturally, it's going to come to you more naturally, basically. You're going to know what to say. You're not going to be in your head thinking, oh, what should I say to this girl? Or is she not going to like me or whatever? Because you're just going to know what to say. It's going to feel right. The conversation's going to flow. It's going to be like a river that goes down as a current. Like, it's going to go smoothly, or it's not. And if it doesn't, you walk away. Have a good day. Nice talking to you. Something like that. Like, it's not hard. All you gotta do is be yourself. It might sound like a hard concept to understand, but it's not. Because the key to being yourself is right in front of you. The tools are already there set up for you. Talking to any girl you want to talk to couldn't be any easier. All you gotta do is be you. That's what matters at the end of the day. That's all for today, and stay blessed.